Well, as you can tell, it was a pretty exuberant crowd up there in Kernville, and we left and came right down here, and we're right at Arby's, and this is the High Desert Roadrunners car show. And you remember 2 weeks ago we talked to
Bill Folden,
and
Mike Hunsinger, I think. Mike Hunsinger.
That's right. We had Mike and Bill out here, and you know, Bill was so concerned about the music being too loud for us talking. It's not. I like that music. Don't turn the music down. That's okay. We've got a example. This is Bill's Merc right here. Tell us a little bit about this 51 Merc here, Bill.
Well, it's just a Chop 51 Merc Custom. It's powered by a 350 Chevy. The color is Tower, and it's in the maroon family, as you can see. It's got a 49 Hudson grill and 52.0 subcaps on it. And the interior is back seats original, front seats are out of a Cordova.
Now, did you do all of this yourself?
I purchased the car up in Reno, Nevada, in Hot August Nights, and but I've been refurbishing it and working along with it, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
How many people? That's better. I like that. How many people are members of the club? You got just about how many people here today?
Well, I'm not sure how many we got here. Probably close to 75 or 80. We have active membership of about 65 right now, and we're always looking for new members. Always.
You know, I imagine a lot of the young people come around here and look and say, wow, look at them antiques, those old cars. You know, I remember, well, you've got right down here, there's a 56 Ford we'll take a look at in a moment. But I can remember one morning getting up and looking in the newspaper because there's a 56 over there. I remember that the 55 Chevys were coming out. Everybody was saying, wait till you see what it's going to look like. And I opened it, and there was a 2-page spread in the LA Times on the 55 Chevy. And I still remember I'm on the floor looking at the newspaper, just staring at it, thinking, gee, if we had a car like that. Now, understand, I was, well, years old.
Yeah.
I was 11 years old when that came out.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome, awesome machine.
Yeah. They're a lot of fun, and you're going to see, as you kind of cruise around this today, you'll see a lot of outstanding cars, and it's just, again, I'm kind of repeating myself as when I was on the show, but it's just a pleasure to be out here and let people come by and look at your car. And,
it is. I see somebody here who's been involved. Chip Holloway, come on over here, Chip. Yeah, you're going to talk to me, Chip.
Chip, a real live actor.
Yeah. He expects to go out there to Mardi Gras, Monte Carlo night and all that. And hey, you've been involved in this before, haven't you?
Oh yeah, we had this at Hamburger Stand for about 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
And then I was involved with the April Fool's Run a couple years now. It's a good organization.
Now, you know, I'm going to ask him. I was just telling Bill about, I remember the new cars when they first came out. Do you remember any of these cars when they were new?
Yeah, I remember that Ford over there. I can't remember.
What is it, a 93? That's a 70, 69, 70?
No, I think 71, yeah.
71 Ford.
69. I bet you can remember those when they were letters. Can't you remember most of those?
Better watch it. You know, if you're ever up for re-election, Chip, I'm going to remember this.
I'm going after the senior vote here.
Yeah, I was just telling him. I remember the 55 Chevy when it came out. And this music and all that. Oh, I tell you, this is really great. Really great. And we got, you know, I'm going to ask, we've got a couple of young fellows over here. If I can get them to sneak over here a second. Because, like I say, I was 11 years old. Now, can you two guys tell me real quick what year's that Corvette?
No.
No. Do any of these cars look familiar to you guys?
That one?
That one does.
All of them, actually.
All of them, actually. Yeah. Okay, you know the people here. What's your name?
It's Mike.
Mike?
Richard.
Richard. Okay, Richard, how about you? Any cars you recognize?
That one.
That one, too.
It must be his dad.
I have a...
With me on it. No, they
I got a feeling there's something behind this one.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go take a look at some of these cars. Mark, you want to follow me around, or I'll tell you what, we'll just go and, yes.
We'd go look. Since we're on the camera, the club would like to present Chip with a little appreciation plaque. And it's for all of his support and hard work that he's done with the High Desert Roadrunner Car Club. And as you know, we've just moved from the Hamburger Stand up here. We've grown, and bigger lot, bigger place, and we went to Chip with really great concerns. But as always, a good friend and professional and understanding businessman. And he just, you know, wished us well, and will continue to support us. So on behalf of the High Desert Roadrunners, nice little appreciation plaque, and
Thanks, appreciate it.
we hope to see you around more often.
Oh yeah. And even though they've moved because they've grown, which is a good thing, the Hamburger Stand supports them 100%. And I invite other businesses to help support this organization because they do a lot to give a lot of money back to the community, and they just create traffic for the city and a good environment. And it's a fun, wholesome, clean family event. So I think every business should help support them.
Yeah, they're also creating traffic for businesses here in town too.
That's right. That's right. Anything that creates traffic is good for everybody, not just hamburger stands. So I appreciate them, the years we put in, and I'm glad it helped you guys grow. So anything we can do, let us know.
Great. Thank you, Chip.
Our pleasure.
Thanks, Bill. We're going to take a look at some of these cars.
Okay.
Bill, you were talking about the People's Choice Award. Explain this to me a little bit again.
At our monthly cruise-ins, we allow the membership to vote on a car of their choice, and we give them a plaque, and it's a little reward for the owner of the car, hard work and stuff. And in January, Dave Gasparetti won the January's, and so we have a little frame here, a picture frame type deal. We're going to put all 12 winners on it, and then from there, I'm not sure what we're going to do with the picture, but we're going to do something with it. But it's just to kind of promote the cars and the club again.
And we have Dave Gasparetti here, the owner. How long have you had this car, Dave?
Approximately a year and 3 months.
A year and 3 months. Do you have other cars, or just something that's a hobby of yours?
No, just this one right now. Mainly I do old police cars. This being a 71 Ford Galaxy 500. The 351 4-barrel engine, full police package, heavy duty, everything runs good.
Beautiful paint job on it too. That is a beautiful auto. That car definitely looks original. I mean, it looks like something the police would drive almost.
Yeah, it has been repainted and new cloth inserts on the seating. Other than that, it's original.
Where did you find this one?
Here in town, actually. Vicinity of County Line Road.
That's a beautiful car. And Mark, did you get a shot of the that framed picture right down there? The High Desert Roadrunners proudly presents the People's Choice Award winners of 1999. In upper left, you see the picture of Dave's car. Thank you, Dave.
Okay.
I got a little story about this next car that we have here. This is a 53 Merc owned by Jack Burnett. How long have you had this one?
We got it in November.
In November. Have you ever owned one before?
Oh yeah, when I was a youngster.
Okay,
Way back when.
Way back when. Jack, a little story I'll tell you folks out there too. And the reason why I was drawn to this car when I was going through college, a good friend of mine had a 53 Merc. It was a black one. And of course it was down sort of like this, you know. We used to go to the Rose Parade. And we would all go New Year's Eve, lay our sleeping bags out on Colorado Boulevard, which of course we never used. And then we get inside the Merc, pull over the side, go underneath the car, uncork the headers, drive down Colorado Boulevard, along with everybody else cruising. Passing the police would come up and say, cork the headers, and we'd pull over, cork the headers. We'd go to the drags in this thing. I have got fond memories of the 53 Merc. Even the time we dropped the drive shaft on the freeway.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we did that too. So I got some fond memories.
Sounds like it.
So but you own one of these. Is that why you chose this type of car to have?
Yeah, I really liked it. Virtually, it was stocked when I had before, and virtually trouble-free. And it was not a popular one like GM cars are, you know. There's kind of few and far between.
Right. Well, matter of fact, my grandparents owned a Mercury like this. I think it was about a 52, and so did my aunt and uncle. So we've had a lot of it in the family. What engine do you have?
This is a 302 Ford.
302? Okay.
Yeah.
What did the Merc come with? What's the original?
I don't remember what the horsepower were. They were a flathead. They changed them from a flathead to an overhead in 54.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So these and everything below was regular flathead. So.
Well, that's an awesome car. And Jack, thank you for sharing that with us.
All right, thank you.
Look at another dream car of mine, and I can remember when these Mustangs first came out. This is owned by Ken, last name?
Burns.
Ken
Burns.
Burns, okay. And like I say, I remember when these 65s first came out. I had a lot of friends that bought them. At the time, I really couldn't afford it. And they were probably only about $22,300, $2,400, something like that, $2,500 perhaps.
Well, in 65 there was more. Yeah, this is a 64 and a half.
Oh, this is the 64 and a half.
Yeah, from April until the middle of August, there were 64 and a halves.
Okay.
And after August of 64, then they changed them to 65s. So this has got a little bit, it's basically the same car, but there's some difference. And the guys that own 64s, they want you to know it's a 64 and a half.
Oh, okay, so you're adamant about that. This is a 64
that's the
and a
first
half.
year,
Okay.
that's the classic one. Yeah.
This is definitely the classic one. Do you recall what they cost new? What the convertible did?
About Let me show you.
I'll bet you've got it here too. I'll bet you have the invoice. Yeah, he's got. Oh, here we go. Now you've got all the original stuff here.
There it is right there.
There it is. 273525.
That's it.
Oh my gosh.
Here's all the registrations for my brother-in-law. That's his card that he got when he bought it new. This is all the registration and purchase order and bill of sale. I've got it all.
See, it's very disturbing to me to see that you all have this out here like you're looking at an antique or something, which, and again, like I say, I remember when it was new. You do too.
Well, it's not really an antique, but it is a classic.
It is a classic. Most definitely it is a classic. That's right. That's a better.
Antiques are
Excuse
over 50 years
That's
old.
right. I have got to watch what I say on that one. You're right on that one. And it is a beautiful car. That's the old 289.
289. It's been bored out a little bit, and it's got a hot cam in it. Mild hot cam, but
So a mild hot cam, so you can still be like a kid when you're driving. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's right.
Okay.
It's they built one originally. They called the Hypo, which is 271 horsepower, and the stock was about 240. But I've rebuilt this and kind of tweaked it a little bit when I rebuilt it.
Well, I'll bet you turn a lot of heads when you're driving along the road.
Well, yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Ken. I think I'd be scared to death to drive something like this on the road.
Well, I don't drive it a whole lot.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I've had it, let's see, this is, it's been 4 years since I got it back on the road after it set for about 21 years, this set.
Oh, okay.
So I've put about 5,000 miles on it in 4 years.
Well, that's not too much, but you know, I do know that a lot of people own cars like this, classic cars, that they rent out to movie companies to park on the street.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I've had people approach me about using it in a movie. When every year I go to Lone Pine to their film festival up there, they want convertibles to haul the old cowboys around in, you know, for their parade.
Oh, okay.
So I go up there every year, and some guy approached me about, you know, would I rent it out to a movie company? And I said, well, for the right money, sure.
Sure. Well, I don't know what this friend of mine got on it, but he had a 57 Ford, and the movie company would come over to his house with a flatbed trailer. They put it up on the flatbed trailer, take it to the lot, put it down, park it. Nobody would ever drive it.
Yeah, just for aesthetics.
That's right, just as background effect. And he got, I forgot how much it was, but he got a pretty good amount of money during the day.
Oh,
it's been some time ago. So, well, Ken,
if I let anybody drive it, you know, I'd want to be sitting over there.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think so. I don't think I'd even let anybody drive it if I owned something like
Well,
this.
there hadn't anybody driven it but me since I restored it.
Probably a smart thing, too. Ken, thank you very much. Pleasure. It's a beautiful car.
Thank you, sir.
Well, as you can see, there's a lot of beautiful cars here, and the folks have spent a lot of time in restoring them. We're going to take a short break right now and go over to Indian Wells Brewing Company and talk to Rick Lovett.
Would you like to be on our show? If you have a topic that relates to life in the high desert, have a special talent or hobby, or your nonprofit organization is planning a special event, we want to hear from you. Call us at 375-5458.
You've read about it, you've heard about it, you've probably tasted it after buying the beverage in the store. But we are right now at Indian Wells Brewing Company with Rick Lovett, the proprietor, manager, chief bartender. I don't know, what would you call it?
Well, I'm the president of the company, but this is the
That's right.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm glad to have you here, Ray. Thank you for
I've
coming.
been wanting to come up here.
Well, we've been looking forward to it, and we've got the place open now. Public is more than welcome to come on up. Our business hours are Monday through Friday, 10 to 3, with expanded hours and weekends coming up in the near future.
Rick, we are right in the main door, right where people come into. Now, is this what happens when they walk through the door?
People come through the front door, and they'll be greeted by a guest courtesy member that will say, "Hi, this is January from Indian Wells Brewing Company." They'll come in. They'll be able to sample the different styles of beers that we have available. They'll be able to look at some of the beer gear that we have, T-shirts, hats, buttons, balloons, and whistles, all of that stuff. They can read about some of our press on the walls. They can take their beer and they can go out into the brewery. There's a nice seating area out there for them. If someone's available, we'll provide tours for them. So quite a few different things going on.
Rick, how did this all start?
Well, it all started off, you know, ironically enough, you know, cooking beer in my kitchen. I mean, that's literally how it started. You know, as some of your viewers may remember, I was a policeman a long time ago, and got injured, and as part of my recovery, I had to lay flat and spend a lot of time at home, and I was bored, and my wife bought me this one of these $100 beer kits, and I started brewing beer for fun. And next thing you know, my partner, Greg Antonaris, who owns the restaurant next door, the Lodge, says, you know, Rick, would you like to brew some beer for the restaurant? We started brewing beer for the restaurant just for the fun of it, and we started getting people coming up all the time asking for the beer. And then the next evolution really was Nicoletti's asked to put the beer online at his place, which really kind of surprised us. We were not counting on any off sales at all at that point. So we put it on at Nick's, and next thing you know, John's Pizza had it, and Schooners and all the rest, and next thing you know, we took off.
So what started out as an avocation, sort of a hobby, just turned into your life's work now.
Absolutely. I mean, it just started off for something fun, something to help me get over the boredom of trying to recover from some surgeries, and next thing you know, we're making some money at it.
Great. Okay, question. Where does the water come from?
The water comes from the Indian Well Spring, which is directly west of us. The Indian Well Spring is part of the Death Valley Loop. There's a California historical landmark out front that says a little story about it, but basically it's the Jayhawkers were coming across. They got into the Argus Range. They discovered that there wasn't any fresh water there because the water's brackish. They then decided they needed to find fresh water. The closest local place was the Indian Well Spring. And voila, Manly and Jayhawkers saved the party by discovering this spring. And that's what we've named a couple of our beers after even. We've got Manly Bach right here. We carry Jayhawker Brown in the restaurant. So we've given those two distinguished gentlemen names of our beers. But the spring is directly behind us, and it has wonderful properties for making really fine ales and lagers, and we use it in all our operations.
You also make root beer?
We do. We make root beer here and cream soda seasonally at Christmas time. We currently have about 15 to 20 draft accounts. We make root beer old-fashioned way and literally put it in kegs just like we would beer.
Gosh, okay. And people walk in here. Now, they want to see what the brewery looks like. Where do we go from here? Mark, can you follow me as we go along? Say yes. Okay, very good.
All righty. We come right through here, and we've got a little sign that says this is the brewery. And then we will step right out here into the designated seating area, and you'll begin to see what the brewery looks like.
Ah, yes. Okay, so this is where the folks come in and seat, just sit here and try out the beers.
This is an area that's designated for travelers and guests who want to come up here and they want to shake a little road dust off. They can sit in here, taste the beers, relax, watch the operation. Just a nice seating area for them.
I think that's what's fascinating about being in here is the fact that we can go sit right over here and watch the operation that's going along. What do we have right over here? Of course, probably you want to start from point one, I guess.
Well, that's okay. We can work our way there. This is a bank of bright tanks where finished product goes inside, and that holds thousands of kegs of beer and the equivalent in those tanks there. We really built this brewery with the idea of attracting people off the highway to give them something to do. We're between two really kind of long distances, Mojave and Lone Pine. There's really not much in between that people can stop, they can stretch their legs, they can use the restroom, they can taste a beer. And we put these bank of windows in here just really for people who sit here can kind of enjoy and look at the operation.
You know, I liken that in a way to we were up in Northern California driving through the Napa Valley, stopping in the wineries. Same type of thing.
It is the same thing, Ray, because you're seeing beer doing the same thing that wine did 20, 25 years ago. For many years, you know, all we had was table wines, and very few people understood the variety of wines that were available. And the wine tasting business introduced people to literally hundreds of different kinds of wine. Well, the beer is the same way. You know, the choices up until now have been Bud, Coors, and Miller. And those guys make fine beers. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a wide variety. There's porters and stouts and you know, Mojave Reds and Desert Pale Ales. There's lots of different styles of beer out there. And microbrewers brew small amounts of beer that enable us to be able to change recipes quite frequently. We do seasonal beers like Winter Wonder's still on right now. We'll do our spring lager. So we've got quite a bit of variety going. That keeps people interested.
Sure. Another thing it reminds me of when I was back in England, we would go to various pubs, and usually the pub would serve the ale or lager, whatever it would be from that particular, I guess I call it a brewery. What do they call it there? Pub? I don't know.
Brew pubs.
Brew pubs. Okay. Yeah.
A brew pub, by legal definition, is an operation that sells more beer on premise than they sell off premise. And we were, by legal definition, a brew pub at one time when we were brewing at the restaurant. Now, of course, we are a true micro brewer because we move hundreds and hundreds of kegs off premise and move a relatively small amount on premise compared to what we move off.
Okay, great. All right, now we move on over here. By the way, I also remember used to going to the free houses over there where they served them, what, different kinds, I guess.
Yes. Now, you're going to immediately see the brew house out here, and these are the copper-cladded vessels here. That is where we physically brew the beer. The beer, the whole point of it is to extrapolate sugars from grains that enable us to be able to take this sweet sugar and move it into a boiling vessel that will enable us to be able to take that product and then rack it over or move it into these bank of fermenters. And these fermenters have yeast added to them, and that yeast then eats the sugar, and the byproduct of that is carbon dioxide and alcohol. And that process, depending on whether it's an ale or a lager, could take literally days to weeks to months.
That was going to be my question, how long it would be in there. So it depends on what it is as to how long. I see, okay.
Desert Pale Ale, for example, will take about 15 days to ferment, where Mojave Red takes 6 weeks. That's one of the reasons why Mojave Red is a real smooth, rich red lager. You know, no brag, it's a nice beer because we take a long time to make it.
Go ahead and brag.
Well, thank you. It's won several gold medals,
There you
and
go.
it's the High Desert's favorite microbrewed beer. So we really have invested quite a bit of time in it, because ales, you can literally turn them around in a matter of 15 days, and time is money in this business. If all those fermenters are full of lagers and you're backed up and that's all you can do because you have no more room or no more vessel, then you've come to a stop. We designate 3 of those tanks for Mojave Red all the time because that's our biggest seller. One of those tanks right now has Manly Bach in it. Manly Bach takes 12 weeks to finish. So depending on the product, it could take weeks to months to make.
And when it's done, now you're storing, what do you have over here? You've got the kegs here?
That's a bank of kegs there. The ones that are wrapped in the cellophane, those are clean kegs that are ready to be racked. The barrel kegs that are palletized are dirty kegs that need to be washed.
Okay. How long did it take to get this operation set up? You've been working on this for some time, I know.
We have been. You know, we ran into a lot of problems, you know, trying to put this operation together, and it took us about 18 months to get this building complete. There was a lot of environmental issues that we had to deal with. Unfortunately, the state of California, in my humble opinion, is not really business friendly. And, you know, the environmental studies and the earthquakes and the floodplains and archaeological and hazardous waste material, it took a long time, Ray. We had a lot of help from our pal John McQuiston, and our supervisor who lives in town. Without him, I'm telling you quite honestly, we might not have got it done. But after 18 months, it's operational. The only thing that we're missing is right over here, there's kind of a footprint on the ground. That's where the bottling line is going to go. So that's being manufactured right now, so that's the last piece of equipment to be moved in. If you'd like, we can go into the walk-in and I can show you how the finished product is completed.
Sure, let's take a look at that.
Okay. The product is moved from the fermenters through a plate and frame filter, and then it goes into these bright tanks, which finished product is now done. You can see some of the levels on this tank, like for example, that has 420 gallons of beer inside of it right now. These tanks are finished, completed beer, which then will be filled, or kegs will be filled from. And that product is then distributed out throughout the high desert and the surrounding areas.
And where's your bottling done, Rick?
Right now, we're not doing any bottling, Ray. We're just strictly doing draft accounts. We distribute some of our growlers, these half-gallon silkscreen bottles, to liquor stores. However, 12-ounce six-packs, that's about 120 days away.
All right. Well, you know, that's one thing I'm very interested in. I have been interested in coming up here because this is, you know, it's been so dead in the Indian Wells Valley, and now to get a new business up here, this is pretty exciting.
It is exciting, Ray. You know, I mean, I grew up here in Ridgecrest. You know, I teach high school to kids who, you know, are looking for employment after they leave high school, and it's kind of sad. I mean, it really is. You know, we took some investors on in this business, and we had tremendous success raising capital because people saw something that they believed in. And you know, without exception, people said repeatedly, you know, Rick, we like Mojave Red, we like what you're doing, but we believe that you're doing something for the valley. And that's a tremendous vote of confidence to hand somebody your money and say good luck with it.
And I guess you're at the kind of the right time because, you know, looking for businesses up here, we can't depend on the base. You know, look what's happening there. So we've got Indian Wells Brewing Company, Front Porch Productions, FPP Studios, a lot of things that are happening here.
There is. I think we see some businessmen that are taking a chance on Ridgecrest, and you know, there's a tremendous amount of support there. It can never be underestimated that we could have never have done this operation without the city of Ridgecrest. You know, Ridgecrest is 23 beer accounts out of like 285 beer accounts right now. So we have a lot of beer accounts. But we don't sell any more beer at any one community than we sell right here in our town. People believe that this is their beer, this is our product, and it's something to be proud of.
Of course, Rick, the beer that is sold out of town, the money comes back to the brewery, doesn't it? Aha, yes.
Absolutely. So, you know, we have a great tax base here. That's one of the things that people liked about that we buy local, we shop local. If it can be done here in town, then that's where we spend our dollars. So, absolutely. I mean, all this beer, the Arrowhead Mountain Spring Water merger, all of that stuff is distributed right here from this operation. And every single employee we have it lives in Indian Wells Valley.
That's great. Well, Rick, we thank you very much for showing us around here. And we're talking to somebody who not only talks about economic development, but is actually practicing it for our community. I'm talking to Rick Lovett, and stay with us. We'll be back with more on City Limits. And that's going to do it for us tonight, folks. I want to thank Mark McCoy with MediaCom. Mark Pirtle also is with me right now, but Mark McCoy and MediaCom are with me up at the Kern River. And want to thank the fine folks up there at the Kern River Valley, too, for helping us out with the show. To Rick Lovett, thank you for taking us through the Indian Wells Brewing Company, and to the folks here at High Desert Roadrunners. Next week we will have, and I said we should have, I'll use that term instead, we'll have Steve Morgan, Councilman Steve Morgan on, and also Deanna Ripley Lotee. And then the following week we're scheduled to have County Supervisor John McQuiston and Phil Arnold, both talking about IWV 2000. Our second segment or guest on there, I have no idea. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week. Good night. Chip Holloway, too, for his efforts in the past few years. We're going to take a short break.
Short break? Kind of a difficult choice.
And I want to thank Rick Lovett very much. And I tell you, that root beer, as I said before, that is pretty awesome stuff that we tried. No, I didn't try it on camera, did I? He supported us today. Mark McCoy with MediaCom. I want to thank Mark McCoy and MediaCom for their help for yeah.
There's always things to do, and you know, I really thank Phil.
Okay, here we go. You noticed that we did talk to Supervisor John McQuiston. We will have John McQuiston on a show in about 2 weeks, along with Phil Arnold talking about IWV.
In the parking lot, whatever it is, we can make it